What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome to today's video. We're going to be doing a little bit of an experiment, a little bit of a franchise mode, a nice little smorgasbord of both. And we're going to take a team of all unanimous busts and see what we can do. Now, it's in the sim. Clearly, a shit team is not going to do particularly well, but what can they do? Can they squeak out some surprising wins? We are putting them on the Seahawks because it seemingly seems like the Seahawks, for their roster builds in real life, they're trying to just get some busts and see if they can turn them around. So we're going to play, I think, week 5 against the Cardinals and or Rams. I don't know yet. But let's take a look at the roster. Maybe there'll be a couple hot takes here and what you guys, oh, he's not a bust yet. So at quarterback, we're going Paxton Lynch, who was recently just released from the Denver Broncos. He was a former first-round pick. We also have Brandon Reeden on the roster, who was also a first-round pick for the Cleveland Browns. So, you know, when they drafted Brandon Weeden, he was like, what, 90, 95, over, not overall, age. He was aged that much. Look, he's 34, my God. What are you doing? But Paxton Lynch will be the quarterback. Running back, we got Ameer Abdullah, who was, expected to do big things for the Detroit Lions. Hasn't quite done that. There's just a bunch of running backs. But ultimately, we're going Eddie Lacy. Now, Eddie Lacy is one of those guys, I don't know if you can, is he a bust? I think ultimately you look upon his year. I mean, those first 2 years were really, really good, and then I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. There's not a whole lot of bust available. I personally wouldn't consider Eddie Lacy a bust, but he's definitely on the cusp. But it's more so Ameer Abdullah will be our feature back. Wide receiver going Corey Coleman, who was on the Browns. Didn't work out there. Got traded to the Bills. Got cut. I actually think today or tomorrow, well, one of these days you guys will be seeing this, he would have had a workout with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. So we don't know. Cordero Patterson, I think he's ultimately a bust. Even though he's established himself as one of the best return men in the league, he was drafted in the first round to be a receiver, and he has not been that great. We have Dorsett, who actually looked good for the Patriots opening week, but still, up to this point, he's been a bust, former first-round pick from the Colts. Perriman, who actually, as well, like Corey Coleman, had a tryout with the Eagles. I don't know. Maybe by the time you guys see this, he would have signed for the Eagles or not. I actually kind of wouldn't hate it because the Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver coaches made Nelson Aguilar like what he was into like a legit wide receiver. Maybe we could do the same with that Perriman or Coleman. We got Kevin White, who's a bust just more so because of injuries. He can't stay on the field. Laquan Treadwell, I don't know what's going on with this guy. Hasn't put it all together yet for the Vikings. And then we got Tavon Austin, who's, again, maybe on the cusp of being like a straight-up bust. He has had some production, but ultimately he's never really lived up to the hype. Tight end, we're going Eric Ebron, Dwayne Allen, and Max Williams. All these guys were high picks, but more ultimately Ebron, who's been solid, but he is definitely, from a stat standpoint, not lived up to that first-round billing ever. So, he's number one here. Left tackle and Greg Robinson, who was the number 2 overall pick, has not done anything in his career. Left guard will be Luke Jokel, former first-round pick. Cameron Erving, former first-round pick for the Browns. We got DJ Fluker and a little twofer here from the same draft. Both these guys have amounted to nothing. We will go Jonathan Cooper, though, as the starter because he is not even rostered. Fluker is actually rostered on the Seahawks. And a right tackle, we're going with the best right tackle in the National Football League, Ereck Flowers. Defensively, we're going Dion Jordan, who, had some drug issues. Might be starting to put things together here with the Seattle Seahawks, but up until this point, the fact that he was taken over Lane Johnson, if you're a Dolphin fan, you're probably still salty about that. Bust. This one kind of pains me because I'm still a fan. It's too early to say he is a bust, but he definitely hasn't lived up to the first-round grade that he got selected by the Buffalo Bills, so we're putting Shag Lawson here. We had Tyson Alualu and Phil Taylor, both former first-round picks that have just been guys. Outside linebacker, we got Barkevious Mingo and Kevin Dodd. I mean, realistically, I could make one of these guys a D-end over Shag Lawson because both these guys have been not great and former first-round picks. We got Stephone Anthony, who's a former first-round pick of the Saints. I think now he's on the Dolphins, just like a depth guy. Shea McClellin was a former first-round pick of the Bears. He's bounced around. He was like all right, like a rostered guy on the Patriots not too long ago, but he's not special. Byron Maxwell, we couldn't get rid of him originally because he was injured, but I figured to leave him on. He was a free agency bust for my Philadelphia Eagles. Then we got a couple first-rounders that have not done much. DJ Hayden, who was a former first-rounder of the Raiders. Kevin Johnson, first-rounder for the Texans. Eli Apple, first-rounder for the Giants. Cyrus Jones was a second-rounder for the New England Patriots. So, yikes, a bunch of guys. Free safety, we're going TJ Green, who recently got released. I think he was a second-rounder for the Colts. And we're going with Calvin Pryor, former first-round pick of the Jets. He was one that I was wrong. I mean, I thought Calvin Pryor coming out of Louisville was the best safety in the class. It ultimately was a pretty bad secondary class. I remember that was like the year that like Justin Gilbert, I think, came out too. But surprised he sucked. Aguayo, clearly there's no other option at kicker. And then I just went Jeff Locke because he's a free agent, and he was once upon a time a 5th-round pick for a punter. And you better believe you're spending a 5th-round pick on a punter. He should probably be your punter for life. So I'm going to say the over-under on wins for this team is probably going to be about 2, but we will get our hands on a game or 2, see what we can do, get frustrated, everything in between. Here we are, week 5. I'm sick and tired. We got a Cleveland Brown looking 0-3-1 record. We're going to take on the Rams. Biggest game of the year so far. Why not? So what we did is I made Cordero Patterson our running back because I think that's probably actually his strongest position. I think he's if something is going to salvage Patterson's career, I mean, aside from going to New England, I think moving to running back, man, he's built like a running back. Why not? And that gives us just straight up speed on the outside with Corey Coleman, Philip Dorsett, Brashad Perriman, and Kevin White. Looking at our team, I guess another thing, because obviously the premise of this video, we were not going to be very good. But I know that for a lot of you guys out there in your franchise modes, you kind of want to sign some of these busts and see if you can turn them around. Obviously, you're not going to get a team of them, but I can find out what some of these players, if you're using my sliders, develop nicely. And I can tell you right now, on the offensive side of the ball, not one, but defensively, TJ Green's already gone up 2. I think we've seen Johnson went up 1. Eli Apple's gone up 1, and we're only halfway through the year. So some of these guys, actually, I think Calvin Pryor too went up 1. So we'll definitely monitor that because that's probably the #1 takeaway, outside of just being an interesting rebuild and seeing if any of these bust guys can perform well, is we will see which of these guys perhaps develop well so that you could have your nice little feel-good repair story. But let's actually get our hands on this team and just see what the madness is about and take on the probably toughest opponent that the Seahawks will take on all year, the 3-0-1 Rams. Let's go, Paxton. Let's show off this candy you got here, Paxton. Bill Paxton with the... Oh, he caught it! Who's 13? I don't even know what it is, but the speed kills. As he... Oh, of course. Ultimate bust thing. Let's just have them not be able to get a touchdown. What is this? Get out of here. I don't know who 13 is, but that was an absolute bomb from Paxton Lynch. Let's see if we can run it in with Eddie Lacy. Was it Coleman? Was that Corey Coleman? No, that was 19. 13 caught it. Either way, big old Eddie Lacy's going to walk it in. All right. I don't think we could have started that any better. And we're going with the booger jerseys because why not? All right, 3rd down on defense. Who should we use her? Mingo? Barkevious Mingo, former 1st-round pick. Oh, nice little play. Man, I'm telling you, this TJ Green's been the standard on the defense. Colts gave up on him too early, I think. Oh, Ereck Flowers with the holding penalty. Surprise, surprise. It's 4th down. We're a team of busts. You better believe we're going to go for it. Let's just go strong flood. Classic and oldie but goodie. Dorsett was the player with the 75-yard reception, so keep an eye on him. Oh, right there. Where's the touch? Oh, the touch to Flowers. Paxton Lynch, or not the Flowers, Dorsett. Paxton Lynch to Dorsett. Lethal. All right, we didn't get it, so now it's time for the epic field goal from Aguayo, and he didn't miss it as the Seahawks go up 10-zip. Going to play the moments. The game told me this is a big 3rd down stop, so let's get Shag Lawson, who some of you guys may know from the Husky series. Actually pretty good. It's better known as Shag Lawson. Oh, nice little pass breakup. 28. Is that TJ Green again? Probably is. He's a baller. 2nd and 10 in the red zone. Trying to extend this lead. I'm really liking the Cordero Patterson with the backfield pass here. That is covered, and we're sacked. Let's go, Aguayo! Man, the holder shoes are so clean. The guy got the all-white Air Force Ones on. Swag. That's what you do when you're a bust. You spend your money on stupid shit. Or just let him fall in the end zone. Sure, don't make a tackle. Just hug him in. Hug him in. Make sure he's nice and comfortable. All right, big time 3rd and 6. Need to stop here to give our offense a chance to get the biggest upset. Team of busts trying to take on and upset a Super Bowl contender. Oh, no. Tell you sucks. 26 sucks. I think that's Eli Apple. It is. Eli Apple's garbage. Well, because we can't have nice things, this game's probably going to be out of reach, but let's see if we can make it respectable. Give him the bite in the play action. Eric Ebron's going to be our first read on this pass. Oh, that's a nice little 1-2 right there. I mean, for what it's worth, Ereck Ebron still has a pretty decent base overall, but all right, now it's time to do the play that works 100% of the time. Probably about 75% of the time. Oh my God, man. I don't want Eddie Lacy. Like, this is where Cordell Patterson would be a monster, but I guess Eddie Lacy's good enough for a second touchdown of the game. He has the shits. That's his signature touchdown celebration. I got the shits. Oh, there you go. Fumble it, and then have your guy catch it for a first down. Next level strats. I told you the connection between Dorsett and Paxton Lynch was next level. We have a chance to win it, or at least tie it. All right, got a 4th and 6 with a chance to send this to overtime. I'm not gonna lie, not overly optimistic, but we'll see what we can do. Oh, he was open, and then Paxton Lynch gonna Paxton Lynch. Sails it. Just sails it. Well, it was nice while it lasted. We had a nice little rock and roll going there for a little bit. But ultimately, you got to have to throw some touchdowns. Can't just sail it every time. It's a meaningful play. Gurley went off. No, Eddie Lacy got 2 touchdowns. Dorsett, definitely the star player for us on the day. 5 catches, 151 yards. Ours also caught that fumble. That was pretty nice. Defensively, 8 tackles from Anthony. 8 and 3 TFLs from Alualu. One bad. Couple half sacks from Mingo and Apple. I would say best player, Philip Dorsett. Worst player, Eli Apple. Now let's just sim out the rest of the year. More so, find out who can develop and just see what their stats are. Just for shits and gigs. All right, so here we are at season's end. I have a conclusion when players we'll talk about, but we actually had at one point in time we won. Actually, I'm pretty sure we won 4 of our last 5. And we finished with a 4-11-1. We finished better than the 49ers. This is a 49ers team that a lot of people, some panelists, say could go to the Super Bowl. So it could have been a lot worse. Looking at the actual stats, not great. 3,800 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 12 picks for Paxton Lynch. I've seen quarterbacks have more interceptions than touchdowns, so I guess there's a positive. And the yards are nice. I mean, 3,800 passing yards is that's like an average season, I would say. Running the ball was dog shit. As you can see, not very good. Receiving, Corey Coleman, 76 catches, 900 yards, 5 touchdowns, 75 catches, 1,000 yards, 4 TDs for Dorsett. Those are pretty good numbers considering. Do we have any O-linemen look good? I don't think so. Yeah, all of them gave up, not a good amount of sacks. Defensively, 117 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 4 sacks for Stephone Anthony. We got 7 sacks, 14 tackles for loss from Mingo, 12 tackles for loss, 6.5 sacks from Shag Lawson. Dion Jordan wasn't bad. Oh my God, look at that. 22 tackles. Again, it's tough to judge because his defense was on the field a lot, so they're going to get a lot of generous stats here. So I'll tell you which ones were good, which ones were bad. 2 picks from Johnson and a couple singles. Kicking game, Aguayo was dog shit. And punting game, that's actually not that bad from Jeff Locke. 51.9. That's pretty good average. All right, so I guess the conclusion, which makes this video somewhat beneficial and not just a random video, is what players considered bust would I recommend you getting for your franchise modes? I'll say on the offensive line, none. None of these guys got more than 1 skill point. Now, I'm using my base XP, like my XP sliders, which I assume a lot of you guys that are watching this probably would be. So the fact that none of these guys gained over a 1, not really worth it. Tight ends, I mean, Ebron is nice, but he's also he's not very easy to get, as he is kind of locked in there on the Colts right now. So I wouldn't really recommend any of these tight ends. So moving here, I think if you really do want to get creative, everyone knows the position switch cheese where you can take a wide receiver and move into running back. But I mean, if you want to do it with Patterson is pretty good. It's pretty fun. But ultimately, the only players I'd recommend on offense is Corey Coleman and Philip Dorsett. We know Corey Coleman because he is also in the Toronto Husky series, and he does work for us there, just height, weight, speed. I didn't really notice Perriman much. I didn't notice Kevin White, but Dorsett obviously had that huge game against the Rams, and he did well in the sim, over 1,000 yards in the sim. So from the offense, if you're looking to turn around a bust, I would say Coleman, Dorsett, and then maybe if you want to, feel a little dirty, a little risque, move Cordell Patterson from wide receiver to running back. Now, defense is where I found some players that I definitely did enjoy. Shag Lawson was pretty good, but again, very much like Corey Coleman, he's featured in the Husky series. In terms of development, Eli Apple, I think he went up +3 in the season, +2 for Kevin Johnson. If not, does it actually show the progression history? That'd be pretty cool. Does it show What their overall change, of course, that'd be something that would be helpful. But I'm pretty sure Eli Apple, you just look at the base when we started. But Eli Apple, TJ Green, Calvin Pryor, like the secondary were all guys that developed nicely. I would say from actually playing the game, though, because Eli Apple was butt cheeks, TJ Green, without a doubt, would be a player I would take a game on. Height, weight, speed. If you're a guy that likes to use your safeties at 6'3", he has 93 speed, definitely look at it. Mingo developed kind of good, but if I had to come up with it, I would say in terms of actual development, Eli Apple probably would be the best shot. In terms of production, I would look at Shag Lawson and TJ Green. So that is it for a team full of busts. If you have any other kind of team builder ideas that ultimately maybe we could find some good information about, let me know in the comment section below. I'm definitely open to doing it. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed, because I guess likes mean stuff now. So the more likes I get in the video, the more it means you support me. I guess it helps me out. But that'll do it for me today, guys. And until next time, C4 saying peace out.